Hi, the Brisbane Broncos are 9-7 after completing the 18-point comeback to beat the Dogs on Friday night, and what a game. It's not quite one of those old baby Broncos games during Origin when they'd lose like 8 guys and pull off an improbable victory after debuting some guy out of the Clydesdales who would make 40 tackles and never play again and go back to work on Monday. This team had plenty of quality in it. It's just that all that quality didn't do much for the first 60 minutes. And it's a huge confidence win. The guys not named Payne and Patrick can make meters, that tries can be scored without Reece Walsh, and when Reynolds is kind of bad, that they can play through their own errors and stupidity and lack of effort and win despite it. It's a win for the bench, it's a win for the halves, it's a win for Trent Barrett, it's a huge win for Ezra Mam, and it's a win for women. It's also an equally huge loss for the Bulldogs, who prove once more that they are chokers, that they have an unsophisticated attack which won't hold up in the finals, that the new guy isn't ready and isn't going to fix that, and that their fans are a bunch of losers. The Ezra thing is ridiculous, and this might be when it ends. The man committed an offence, pled guilty, paid fines to the court, the league, and the club, served his suspension and apologised. He has done everything required of him, but you want to throw bottles at the bench and boo him every time he touches the ball? And I don't think that there's anything that Ezra could do to personally satisfy those people that don't seem to understand the concepts of rehabilitation or the purposes of sentencing, and I can't help but feel like it's starting to get into Adam Goode's territory of, oh, I and tens of thousands of other white people are booing this Indigenous man every time he touches the ball in a sport that I can't play professionally because he's a dickhead. Okay, crazy guy. This is from a fan base of a team that employs Josh Curran, mind you, who pled guilty to assault occasioning bodily harm against a 16-year-old and had no conviction recorded. Was he booed every time that he touched the ball when he returned from a 2-game ban? No, and he shouldn't have been. But what about all the things that Ezra could have done but didn't actually do? It's performative outrage. Okay, everyone got their little viral moment shouting in their car about how he should be banned for 1,000,000 years. Good job on the views. But it gets to a point of ignorance where people just want to boo and make loud noise, and I think that we're beyond it now. Thankfully, it didn't seem to bother Ezra in this game. It seemed to have had the opposite effect and motivated him. The Dogs fans who might be unhappy about that, remember, my haters become my waiters when I dine at the table of success. And hello, Mr. Walters. Would you like to hear our specials today, or would you just like to watch me eat my words? Well done, Billy Walters, on 100 games in the NRL, and I have been complimentary of Billy. Since Madge swapped him back to the number 14, he's been an excellent injection of energy in those games off the bench, but this is his finest hour, and if you place all the words that I've said about Billy Walters on this channel on a scale, the negative definitely outweighs the positive. But in his milestone game, he made all the difference after coming on in the 48th minute, and as soon as he's on, the speed of the ruck basically doubles, and things start happening for the Bronx. The wheels start turning, and they make a couple of breaks that don't lead anywhere, but Karapani's getting into space, Reynolds is kicking to a flying Mariner, and Billy's backing everything up. He's playing with plenty of ticker, he's giving Reynolds and Mam early ball, and they're attacking the Dogs wider on the edges. In his 32 minutes, Walters scored a try, ran 60 metres, made 2 line breaks and 13 tackles, and basically wins them the game. Also making a pretty big contribution to the Broncos' comeback are the Bulldogs, who completely fell apart in the last 20 minutes of this one, just so out on their feet and just couldn't get anything going with the ball. They commit 8 errors in the second half, 2 of those leading to tries, and 2 by Josh Curran, who lacks a skill which most NRL players are generally expected to possess, which is the ability to hold on to the ball. There's 3 interesting errors here by the Dogs, and it's what I mean about their unsophisticated attack. 47th minute, Bulldogs set up to go to their strong side left and want to make Stags choose between Kickout and Burton, and Galvin makes it a whole lot easier by making the wrong play and throwing it basically into Burton's back. If he hits Kickout here, it's probably game, but don't worry, he learns from it. 5 or so minutes later, he looks right to go left and gives Burton an absolute hospital ball on fifth tackle. Still learning. 59th minute, 2-on-3 with Burton, Kickout and Talau, so he goes to Kickout this time, but the Broncos know Burton's only a decoy, and Mariner jams Kickout and makes a great play on the ball. Katoni is sliding to the wing so he can pick up the drop ball and go. And when the Bulldogs inevitably choke in the finals, are they really going to have Galvin in that side? I don't think so. Credit to the Bulldogs for chasing down Mariner. He probably scores a try there against 12 other teams, but the Broncos go from wing to wing after Mam gets past Sherry and Montoya with ease. And this is a saying I want to stop using, but it works, because Karapani says to Connor Tracy, "May I have this dance?" Karapani was one of the best Broncos in this game, and in every game since his recall to the side, all of which he's scored in, and he ended up closing this one out with a huge hit on Preston to force an error. That try was the first spark of hope, a bit of something from nothing, and the Dogs opening the door through poor play, one which Deloise Hoyter ran straight through 4 minutes later, and it was a combination of Dogs' errors and penalties which let the Broncos stay in their half and score out of the set play. Great line running by Willison, Piakura and Smoothie. Again, starting prop Tyson Smoothie, which gave Ezra space to operate, and the ball he threw to Hoyter is just an absolute delight. And there's not many guys that you'd rather see score on return from an ACL than Deloise Hoyter. He's run straight through from that ball, but also notice where Karapani is, exactly where he needs to be as always. The play works exactly as intended, and the margin becomes 8 points after Reynolds misses the conversion, and it's starting to look like it's on. Back to Billy praise for a minute. They bring the game to 2 points after Billy Walters scores maybe the most Billy Walters try you'll ever see, using the terrifying presence of Xavier Willison, who was lined up to put Connor Tracy into the foundations of the worst infrastructure built by man, Accor Stadium. Tracy is already on his heels, ready to attempt a tackle, so it's a dummy and a bolt through the unguarded space between him and both markers, who aren't square anyway and never wear all game, to find dirt. It's a classic of the genre. Also, a question that will probably go unanswered. When Billy burns Connor Tracy here, you can see that he's saying something, and I want to know whether that was like a fake call to Willison, or is it just a classic bah! He's already beat, give him a bit of backyard stuff. Maybe some tss. And there has been a noticeable difference every time that Billy has come off the bench these last few games. He comes on and it's just run and gun, take the chances presented to you and give good service, and he's excelling at it. Now that they have to manage bringing Hunt back, Billy should be the one to partner Benny, however they manage the minutes, but Walters is flying right now, and even speaking as the world's biggest Moser guy, his spot is a lock. The game winner could have been here if Billy recovered this Katoni kick that Galvin put out of bounds, and I'll brook no referee bias discussion when Todd Smith overlooks this very obvious professional foul by Tracy and lets it go unpunished. Kickout's play the ball error might have been probably called a penalty earlier in the game, but whatever. But it doesn't matter anyway, because the Broncos run the same play as they ran for the Hoyter try, and this time it's Pia Kura, the guy who runs the best dead straight line on the team, going over. The Broncos love this play, they run it all the time, and it's usually good for 15 meters, and now it finally gets rewarded with a try. The comeback is complete, and Ezra Mem has his third try assist in 21 minutes. And it's also a reward to Pia Kura for an incredible game. He was a monster in this one. Defensively elite, running great lines as always, gets punished for making a good tackle for the second week in a row. Period where Xavier Willison was on the bench and the Broncos had basically no momentum and couldn't get meters in the middle. Pia Kura, Ricky and Hetherington all did a really good job making up for basically half of Xavier in the aggregate. And it didn't result in anything, but it was good grunt work. This was Ricky and Pia Kura's best games of the season. Ricky made a really important late tackle on Burton in the Dogs' last set where they could realistically score points, and the Dogs are stuck in their own 30 on fourth tackle. They've got a guy with the biggest boot in the league, so they put it in his hands to run. Just the wrong option again. And there's still time on the clock, but the Dogs are completely gassed and the Broncos are rolling. They were absolutely everywhere in defense for the last 5 minutes of the game. Just no chance of giving up that lead. The boys were on. Those last 20 minutes are so good that the first 60 almost don't matter. Mostly because it's an Origin week and they just need to get the 2 points by any means necessary. It's how you start, not how you finish after all. But there's so much good to take out of this game for when the Origin guys are back. Because they're not the same weak team that gave up leads and couldn't score in the second half. They're the opposite. They give up 3 dumb tries in the first half and claw their way back. And while Selwyn Cobo played a pretty decent second half, that first half had me ready to drive him to the airport. I don't even care that the Dolphins are in the same city. You just need to get on the first flight out of here. Second time this season that a Broncos fullback has conceded a try by whiffing when trying to put a ball out of bounds where they could have just grounded it. 2 tries then contributable to Selwyn Cobo errors. The whiff and then not contesting a kick. And for the first try, tell me who's responsible for telling the backline, hey, there's a 4-on-3 mismatch on this scrum. I'd say the fullback, but he's in the scrum and it makes for the first time that Karapani has been scored on this season. For Selwyn, some great runs in the second half, but I don't see him coming back into the lineup without injury. One guy who can be very confident coming into the back half of the season, and I have mentioned him a few times already, but he's getting his segment, is Xavier Willison, who was absolutely immense in this game, leading the team in tackles in 43 and all players in meters with 203. He forced an error late on Todd, which gave him the field possession for the Walters try. He ran good decoys in all but the Karapani try. He was just incredible. The man loves playing against the Dogs. We'll see what's up with Jensen Calf, but if Willison starts at prop the next game, no issues whatsoever. Hetherington, another good game. He's in good form. Ben Tolte held his own for his minutes. And look, I'm going to say it one more time. Starting prop Tyson Smoothie is an inspired move for his 44 meters on 6 runs. No one saw that coming. To be fair, Serraldo had a few tricks up his sleeve too. He's throwing a Jake Turpin lock trap card out there and the backline reshuffle to move Burton out to center. All right, recurring segments, ticker, gutless index, Selwyn Cobo, you know where to go. But I think that's it. I think that everyone else was fine. 3-2-1 for best on ground. This is tough. I need to choose between Mam, Willison, Pia Kura, and Karapani. I think it has to be Willison for the 3 points. They just had nothing going in the middle while he was off. Mam gets the 2 points for the 3 try assists. Then between Karapani and Pia Kura for the 1 point, I'm saying tie. Give them both 1 point. What a game. Maybe not season-defining, but season-defying. It was a big one, held it down for the big dogs and beat the Dogs. The top 4 is now in sight.
Guys, it's Tony here and I'm with Payne.
Please follow the block content. It's a good idea.
Get there.